Hey guys, so this week has been an interesting week, and I figure, hey, I enjoyed this story, so why not share it with you guys? And so, for the first time ever, story time with Evelyn. So I was minding my own business, and I was just chilling at home, in my PJs all comfy, I think watching some Netflix, because who doesn't do that all the time? And so, my cousin was in the living room, she hears a knock on the door, and she decides to look through the cool little cute peephole, you know, that's what it's for, and she decided, hey, I'm going to open the door to the stranger. And so she opens the door, and then happens to realize she doesn't know who this is, so she calls me to the door. And also she doesn't know English, so she called me to the door. And so I come to the door, and I was like, oh hey, what's up, to the stranger. And this stranger, like, asks for a cup of sugar. Yeah, like in the movies or in stories. And so I guess, you know, you ask your neighbors for a cup of sugar if you need it. That's normal. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll get you a cup of sugar. So I got him a cup of white sugar, and I was like, okay, here you go, neighbor. Ta-da. And so he said thank you, that was that. He left, and then an hour later I heard another knock on the door, and me and my sister both decided, okay, let's go open the door. So we look through the little peephole, and it's the same guy with another guy. And all of a sudden, they have cookies. And so they decided to tell us, oh, hey, thanks for the sugar. Here's some cookies because we made cookies with the sugar, so we decided you deserve some cookies. So, of course, we weren't going to say no to free cookies. Like, come on. I trust them enough to not be poisoned or anything. You can't say no to cookies. Just, no one can do that. So we accepted them, we said thank you, and they were on their way, and we thought that was that. So we ate the yummy cookies, and we ended our night wonderfully. The next morning, I was on my way to work, and all of a sudden, I open the door, and I see a whole new pouch bag of sugar at my doorstep. So I was like, okay, I guess they super returned the favor. And I grabbed it, I put it in my house, and I went to work. So later on that day, I get an awesome weird call from my sister freaking out, saying that for some reason she opened the door and all around our floor she saw these flyers. And these flyers happened to have a picture of the same exact sugar that I have found earlier. That said, lost sugar, please return to this apartment if lost. And I was just like cracking up because I just did not believe that this had happened. When I got home, I actually saw all these flyers all over my floor and in my neighbors' like doors. I saw this flyer that was just so funny, and I actually have it right here. It says lost with a picture of the sugar, and it says if found, please return to apartment 1027, which obviously was those guys that I lent sugar to. We weren't really sure what to do with it. They obviously were being quite creative. They're teenage guys and they see girls that are their neighbors, so they decide to be creative. And yes, I give them so much props for this. It's a perfect way of getting someone to come over without being too creepy, right? Like, this isn't creepy. This is just creative, you know? And so me and my sister didn't want to necessarily come over because we weren't sure how that was going to go down. Like, we were like, I mean, if we come over with the sugar, that's exactly what they want. And we're not sure if we want to give them what they want, you know? And so it was just a lot of thought process, and we weren't sure what we were going to do. We were also thinking of getting my mom to come over with the sugar, you know, just like knock, 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 hey, instead of the people you thought they were going to be, it's some old lady. And so, yeah, that was our first plan. But obviously, before we even could think of anything creative, my mom decided to just leave the thing of sugar in front of their doorstep. I kind of found that to be a little bit rude. I felt kind of bad because they're going to think like, oh, they didn't like our idea and they think we're lame. That wasn't really the case. We just didn't have enough time to do anything about it. We thought of these awesome ideas of like what we should have done. And so here are some of the things that we really thought we should have done, you know? Like, come on, lost sugar. Obviously, the best thing to do is hold it at ransom, you know? Take a picture of the same sugar with a gun to its head or something. That would have been great. I wish we had the chance to do something fun and creative. Now we're just the boring neighbors next door. Come on. That sucks. If you guys were put in a situation where someone does something pretty awesome and pretty creative, what would you do, you know? How creative can somebody be? You guys tell me what you guys would have done, and I will see you all next week with some interesting videos. Bye! ¿Qué quiere? Ok, cierra la puerta. Cierra la puerta.